if I get up
No,
and
they
leave
wanted to
randomly
destroy my
and
car.
don't ask
And
questions,
they also
you
wanted to
don't
jump
want
me.
me.
Landon Jones,
Already found
Corbin
out that I'm not missing this
Houston,
class. I'm gonna
Ashton.
leave after this class maybe, but I'm not missing
Like
this.
Bella.
So I need a mask.
No, I haven't been, I mean, I've been
Yeah,
sick
they
since
all
the
wanna be,
middle of
For
November.
what?
And
Wait.
Number 7. E. So we have the limit. Do you think Grant's gonna watch this?
No,
I might need to watch it though, so.
Okay.
I guarantee Grant does.
X approaches negative infinity.
No, don't, just stop it. Whatever you're saying back there, just stop.
Okay. We always check to see if we can just plug it in, but we get 1 minus infinity over 5 plus infinity minus infinity. But that makes no sense. We don't know what that goes to. Other strategies we've tried is factoring and reducing, but with the infinities we have a special trick. What is it?
Divide by the highest power, lowest power back.
Okay, so I'm going to take, you do the highest, everything times 1 over x to the 4th, or divide every single term by x to the 4th. So then I have the limit as x approaches negative infinity of 1 over x to the 4th minus, I don't know why my fours keep closing up as I write them, 2 over x squared minus 1 over,
Wait, why is it 2x?
because it was a 2x squared divided by x to the 4th.
Oh, we do it by the highest power. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I said high. I don't know what I said.
Yeah, you said low.
I tried to say highest and then I said lowest and then I just got confused. So.
And the idea is, if I have one pizza and I invite more and more and more people into our room, what's happening to the amount of pizza?
Getting closer to
Getting
0.
less.
Okay, so if you have a number over infinity, it goes to 0.
But it's over negative.
It doesn't matter. It's just if it's getting closer to 0 from the positive or negative side. And so this gives me a 1/3.
When would it get? It's just been a minute. What would the example be that comes from the negative side and gets bigger and bigger and bigger? It wouldn't happen in this though, right? Because
Right.
It's anything over infinity is 0.
Right. Whether it's a number over positive infinity or a number over negative infinity, it doesn't matter. F. We have the limit as we approach 5 from the right. 25 minus x squared over x squared minus 10x plus 25. So if we first check to see if we can plug in, we get 0 over 0, which is not allowed.
Illegal.
Illegal, we don't know what that does. So on the top, first thing I would recommend is taking out a negative. That would give you a positive x squared minus 25. So then that would factor into x plus 5, x minus 5. Again, I just took out the negative because when I factor, I prefer my x to be first. The bottom, multiply to positive 25, add to negative 10, would be negative 5 and negative 5. So those cancel. So we limit as x approaches 5 from the right. Okay, if I put in a 5, so all we have left is this. If I put in 5, I'm still getting 0 on the bottom. But we are approaching from the right. So we did this as a matter of reasoning. And you have to be able to show me enough work that I know you're reasoning. So this step right here is pretty important for justifying that. If I put in the top, I have 5 plus 5, which is 10. So this is giving me a negative 10. On the bottom, 5 minus 5 is 0, but I'm approaching from the right. If you put in a number bigger than 5 and subtract 5, it's a positive. So, first of all, if you take a positive or a negative divided by a positive, your answer is negative. All right, 10 divided by a smaller and smaller number. I have 10 pizzas. We start off with the whole school in here. As I start kicking people out, what's happening to the amount of pizza you get?
Bigger and bigger.
This is approaching negative infinity.
Can I just have quick notes? How positive after the number? Which way am I coming from?
Bigger. So
I'm going, this is my line.
you're approaching 5 from this direction. So the number you put in is bigger than 5. Think about on a number line. You're on the right-hand side of 5 on a number line, so you're bigger than 5.
Negative.
Mm-hmm.
It really just affects that. It only affects this problem, though, right?
Anytime that you're doing
No,
this.
Anything that has an addition or a negative sign.
Yeah.
Is the only time that.
Yes.
Okay. Because it'll always give you. I mean, if it has that sign, it'll always give you negative or give you.
It's telling us if we're going to have positives or negatives. Yeah. All right, is that one okay? Problem 10. So my function f of x equals 4 minus x over 3 plus x. First of all, vertical asymptotes, it's whatever makes the bottom equal 0. So that is -3. You do have to give me the equation. An asymptote is a line. Vertical is x equals. So you have to have the x equals. To find horizontal, we did the limit as you approach positive infinity and negative infinity. Why did we do both?
Because sometimes it doesn't match up.
Right. Most of the time it does, but if you're doing things with like square roots or piecewise, absolute values, sometimes you could get different answers. So we do need to check both. So, if I plug this in, 4 minus infinity over 3 plus infinity, I don't know what that does. But we could take everything times 1 over the highest power of x. So our trick from last time. So that would give me a 4 over x minus 1, 3 over x plus 1. So now if you plug in infinity, 4 over infinity is going to 0, minus 1 over 0 plus 1, and we get -1. You do the same thing for the negative side, and what happens? Same thing.
This is really off topic, but Carson, you left your jacket at work yesterday.
Yeah.
We found it, and me and Kylie thought this is a jacket for a human bigger than us.
Yeah, I was cold. But now I wasn't cold. No, I wasn't. So I took it off.
Meaning when the temperature changes.
So then the horizontal is y equals -1. So vertical x equals horizontal y equals, you do need to verify both positive and negative infinity.
For this type of problem, when are we gonna know if we need to multiply by the conjugate or like the highest power of x?
If you're approaching infinities, it's most likely the conjugate. If you're approaching a said that backwards. If you're approaching infinity, it's the highest power of x. It's when you're approaching a number that you're doing the conjugate. You wouldn't on this case, there's no conjugate, but if you had a problem with the square root and you were approaching a number. All right, problem 11, A and B. So everybody pull out your study guide and look at that picture there, so I don't have to try to draw it. I know. It's crazy, I'm not real artistic. I'm gonna start at the left. I want to know where the graph is not differentiable. That means the derivative does not exist. And I tried to give you a graph that illustrated every single thing that would make a derivative not exist. So starting on the left, where is the first place?
-1. No.
-4. What is the reason there?
Break.
You could say a discontinuity. You could say the limit does not exist. Couple different options there. In order to be differentiable, that means there is a derivative. Okay, so things that cause us to not have a derivative. Remember, the limit has to exist, the function has to exist, and they have to be equal. Okay, the function exists there at your actual function value is at 0, but the limit doesn't exist because as you're approaching from the left and the right, they don't match up with that discontinuity. What's the next place?
-1.
-1.
2.
So again, my
Vertical.
reasons.
Vertical line. Tangent line.
So in order to be differentiable, you have to have a limit, the function has to exist, and the limit has to equal the function. Those are the rules for continuity. So at -1, does the limit exist?
Yeah, it matches
The
up,
limit
would
exists, and the function exists, but we have a different problem.
The vertical as tangent line?
Not at -1. It's the corner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that makes the derivative not exist because of that corner. Where else? 2.
Lines don't touch. And vertical asymptote.
Function does not exist.
You could tell me a vertical asymptote. You could tell me the function does not exist. Either of those would work. All right, and where else? 5. What's wrong with 5?
Too steep. Vertical tangent. I knew it was gonna come in here somewhere. I knew it was there.
Yeah.
I thought I
Vertical
wrote
tangent.
it down somewhere, but I didn't.
All right, as you are looking at this graph, we are talking specifically about -4. Okay, so the graph looks like this. At -4. Okay, the first question is the limit as you approach -4 from the left. So as I'm coming in smaller, I'm over here, my y value is getting closer to 1. Okay, as I approach -4 from the right, that means I'm coming in from this direction, so it's going to -1. Then I asked for the overall limit. In order for the limit to exist, those have to be equal. So since they don't match up, it does not exist.